My name is Tracee Beebe. I am the writer and producer for Dog Years.
My name is Mylissa Fitzsimmons, and I'm the writer-director of Who Decides?
So, ladies, I guess to kind of start off with, tell me a bit about that moment when you found out you were going to be a part of Women in Texas Film Festival, and what attracted you specifically to Justina's festival? What made you want to come out to Texas this way?
Right. Well, when I found the festival on Film Freeway, I was actually specifically looking for festivals that catered to women in film. You know, it's such an important time for us women filmmakers, and so I was really excited to find something that was, you know, really geared towards us and also somewhat close to home, because I'm from near Austin, so that was really exciting. And when we were accepted, I was just thrilled and immediately made plans to come and attend, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity for sure.
Very nice.
I had heard about Women's Texas Film Festival from a friend who had attended last year, and then coincidentally another friend actually sent an email as a reminder to, hey, this festival is really great and I've heard really great things about it and you should submit. And so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot, like I need to submit to that one. I love Texas. I love all the festivals in Texas. So when I did get accepted, I was like, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna go to Texas. They're great. So
I love that you brought up alums from previous years. It's only in its third year, but what did that mean to you to have such a young festival already kind of touted by filmmakers? That's kind of surprising.
Well, as a filmmaker, I get most of my festival recommendations from alumni and friends. They're kind of the only festivals that I'll target, knowing that those filmmakers whose opinions I trust and whose projects I really like, says to me very much so that if they're recommending a festival, that's something that I should definitely look into or keep an eye out for to make sure my project is the right fit. So,
very nice. I don't want to harp too much on the subject matters of the stories because obviously they're short. So I'd love to know how long were your shoots and kind of where exactly did you find your locations? That's always seems to be kind of the first thing with short films is where you're going to shoot.
Actually, so our shoot was a single day shoot. We did a 14-hour day with a young child and an old dog and 117 degrees outside. So that wasn't the best choice, but it worked really well for the film in the end. And the location is my cabin, actually, on our ranch that we set designed the heck out of. It doesn't look like that in real life. We just did a lot of work in making it look as run down and trashy as possible.
So I'm from Los Angeles, so I actually shot in Los Angeles because it was just very convenient for me. My location, we actually shot in a working hospital, which was nothing I would probably do again on that budget. And then I shot it over the course of 2 days. We also have a young kid in it, and so our child labor laws. So we actually, in total, it took us about 10 hours to shoot the movie because we could only work for 5 hours a day with the kids. So 2 days seems already not enough time, but then when you actually just take in the consideration of how many hours, it just was very, very planned out so that we didn't waste any time. So, and I think you kind of have to do that when you're working with kids and pets. So,
I was definitely curious if it was an actual hospital that you're shooting in. Talk to me about the process of getting permission and kind of when you got there, was there any surprises that you were just like, oh God?
Because it's a short film and the budgets are so low, I don't have a location manager, so we reached out a lot. We knew what our budget was and what we could and couldn't spend, obviously, so we knew we couldn't work in like a major hospital, and all the sound stages that have hospital sets were completely booked. And so we ended up going to nursing homes to see if that would work. And then we ended up going to convalescent homes, which is ultimately where we shot, which is like a hospital / nursing home / healing place, you know, where it's not fun. I went to 42 different locations, and this one just happened to be the one that said yes. They actually had an available hallway, which is I only needed a room in a hall, and they actually had an available hallway which was less crowded and less patients with 2 empty rooms, and that's all I needed. And they were very wonderful, and they weren't as expensive as I thought. They were still, permits and insurance to shoot in a hospital is no joke. And they had some rules. The main rule was we couldn't film any of the patients, and I think our biggest obstacle was every patient wanted to be in it. And so they would definitely do their walking tour towards our hallway and kind of just like, hey, what's going on? I could be in your movie. And we would have to politely decline, although some of them were so great that I wanted them to be in my movie. And then I think our other biggest obstacle, which we ended up actually just incorporating into the film, was it was really loud. It was incredibly... We shot on a Sunday specifically because we were told that was the quietest day and that no visitors really came that day. It was incredibly loud with the patients there. There was a lot of singing and screaming and yelling and talking, and we basically took all that sound and bless the heart of our sound person. She was really wonderful. But we took all that sound and all that noise, and we actually incorporated it into our sound design. We made it part of our soundtrack for our film. So if you watch the film and you hear screaming,
that's real screaming.
That was the person down the hallway.
I'd love to know, casting-wise, where you found your specific leads, and then Tracee, for finding that particular dog, tell me that story. But yeah, I'd love to know, casting-wise, how it went for you guys.
The little girl that's in my movie, she's never done anything. She came in and she auditioned for us. We were the first thing she's ever done. And the moment she walked in, she, look-wise, was exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I had imagined in my head. And I needed somebody that could be very, very sweet and innocent. And she just was that in real life, and she was wonderful. And then I was really very fortunate. I knew a chunk of our money would have to go towards our lead actress, and she's SAG, and I wanted a recognizable name. And we were sent a list by a casting director friend, and there was a lot of people on that list, but a lot of them were East Coast actresses, and I knew we wouldn't be able to afford to fly them out. And so the list got shorter and shorter and shorter, and in the end, my neighbor actually was friends with the lead actress, Jenny O'Hara, and I went to my neighbor's house. She's an actress, and I said, do you know anyone? And she's like, oh, hold on, I'm just on a Skype call with somebody. And it was Jenny O'Hara, and it was just a coincidence that we literally had just sent her the script about 15 minutes before.
Wow.
And so my lovely neighbor friend gave me a little hype, and then she called back, and she was available, and she would do it for that low rate, and she was amazing. She was a dream.
Very cool.
Well, my little lead actress, she's 9 years old at the time of shooting, and she had never done anything before. And I really needed someone who was really natural and didn't act like a child actress, right? And that also was an animal lover. She really, that bond between she and the dog had to be authentic and had to be raw and real for it to work. Because there's basically no dialogue, and it is such a short, compressed story that the bond had to be there naturally. And so my DP, my first AD, it's his daughter. And so we had looked at a few others, but I brought her out to meet with the original dog that we cast, and I knew that she would be perfect. And she took direction really, really well. She's a natural. I mean, she's a natural performer, but also a natural for the part. The way we cast the dog is I actually sent out a casting call on social media for an old dog that liked to play ball, specifically looking for a larger dog like a lab or something like that. And I got so many submissions. It was really kind of funny. And but I got, we ultimately ended up with a chocolate lab, an older chocolate lab that was so into playing ball that she couldn't focus on anything else. And she was too hyper, too intense. And we had cast her because of the look, but when we put her with the girl, it just didn't work. And so I was really concerned, and I was just going to end up using one of my old dogs, even though she wasn't quite fitting the look that I wanted. And we went, it was the Saturday before we were shooting, and we were going around to the garage sales to look for set design stuff because we had to have so much junk around. And I walked up to this garage sale, and this old dog tottered up to me and just looked right at me, and I said, "Oh, there's my dog." So I went to the owner and I said, "I know this is going to sound really strange because we're not in Hollywood and we're in some little podunk town, but I want to put your dog in my movie and it shoots next week." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And so it just worked out beautifully. And I mean, you see that in the film how incredibly the dog fits the role. So I got really, really lucky with that.
Wow, that's crazy. Both of the stories, getting Jenny that way, that's wild. So I'd love to know what's coming up next for you guys as far as projects. Is there hopes to turn any of these to longer form versions, or are you looking to other material?
Actually, Dog Years, I have toyed with the idea of turning it into a feature. I think that there is a story there, but that's not really my focus right now. I'm a screenwriter. That's my main focus, and so I'm just working on some projects that I've got being shopped around right now. That's my main thing. I just wrapped up on a horror short that we shot last month, and so that's where I'm at right now. I don't have anything on the slate coming up in the next few months anyway.
Horror short, though. I like that.
Yeah.
Me too. Who Decides was never conceived with the proof of concept for a feature. I'm sure if somebody approached me and said, "I think this could work, let's work together," I would be like, heck yeah. As for me, what I'm doing next is I'm working on finishing up a script for a feature. And then I am going to be doing a short with an Austin actor, actually. So those are the two things that I'm going to be focusing on. Hopefully, right now I'm just here and having fun. So.
I've got to ask, since non-Dallasites, what have you been able to do while out here in Dallas? Have you been able to check the city out, or has it just kind of been at the festival?
Well, I just got here last night, so I've been able to eat some food and I've been able to hang out with you, but definitely.
What type of food do you mind if I ask? Tex-Mex, hopefully?
I didn't get that. I was very upset about it. Don't remind me. I'm going to work on that today, so I need some queso. So, but I've got some plans. I've got a list, but my film screens today, so first I got to get that out of the way. But after that, I plan to do nothing but eat. So.
And then venturing on north, was there any fun tales about jumping up here to Dallas?
It's a lot longer drive than people realize. Because we live west of Austin. We're over in Llano, and that's actually where the film was shot. Great place to film shorts and movies if anybody's looking for a location. But so it's a long drive, and we had planned on going to the stockyards last night, and we got here and realized that was an extra almost 2-hour round trip, and we're like, maybe we'll just hang out. So I went to the round table, the Filmmakers round table here at the festival yesterday, which was the best round table I've ever been in. It was so much fun and so informative, and just really enjoying the festival so far. So today will be really just all about the festival, and then tomorrow we will be looking at finding some fun Dallas things to do.
Perfect.